And now, live from Las Vegas, Nevada, coming in at 6'1" and weighing in at, your guess is as good as ours, the host of Get a Grip Business Radio, Paul Montelongo.
I want me some Paul Montelongo.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
Good afternoon, Las Vegas. Welcome to the Paul Montelongo Get a Grip Business Show. This is where the American free enterprise system is encouraged, it is endorsed, and it is very hard at work. I'm your serial entrepreneur host, Paul Montelongo. You can listen live to the show this afternoon, live streaming on Al Gore's internet by going easily to paulmontelongolive.com. This is KLAV AM 1230, the talk of Las Vegas. This is where serial entrepreneurship is a way of life, where we talk about what's real, where we talk about what's profitable, and by golly, what works. I'm joined by my co-host, Harry E. Shade. Welcome, Harry. Glad to have you back.
Paul, it's a pleasure as always.
And so as you know, this week I am thrilled, and I have been thrilled all week.
Giddy like a schoolgirl.
Anyway, to follow the show, follow me again. I say at paulmontelongolive.com. Also on Facebook, Paul Montelongo Fan, and on Twitter at Paul Montelongo. Tweet me, Facebook me, and we'll check out your comments as we go along. Today we have in studio, or actually by phone, someone who I have great respect for and have known for a while and have known of even longer. On the phone with us today is Jeffrey Gitomer, sales guru of all sales gurus. I'm not sure, Harry, that he likes to be called a guru, but I'm going with it right now.
Well, you know, the way you're just espousing, I can't, blame you for, guru. Good word.
Yeah, normally we go into, some other things, some banter and things, but I'm just so excited that I've got to have Jeffrey on the line right now. He is the author of a brand new book. You see it there if you're watching paulmontelongolive.com. And the new book is called 21.5 Unbreakable Laws of Selling. And Jeffrey is the author of the Sales Bible, Customer Satisfaction is Worthless, Customer Loyalty is Priceless, The Little Red Book of Selling, The Little Red Book of Sales Answers, over 4 million books sold globally. And the new book that he has come out with is absolutely fabulous. It's a compilation of so many of his thoughts. And because so many entrepreneurs watch our show and listen to our show, and so many salespeople listen to our show, I thought it'd be perfect to have Jeffrey on this afternoon. Jeffrey, are you on the line?
I am indeed, Paul.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Paul Montelongo Get a Grip Business Show. How in the world are you?
I never realized how important I am until someone introduces me.
And how does that make you feel, Jeffrey?
It's very humbling, actually, and I'm not a very humble guy. But, when someone lists my accolades, I go, holy mackerel, that's pretty damn good.
You wake up one morning and you say, wow, I actually have done that. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. You become an overnight success 20 years after hard work.
Isn't it amazing how that works? And of course, a big portion of your book, the new book, 21.5 Unbreakable Laws of Selling, deals with legacy. And as I would imagine you agree with, the legacy takes time, takes effort, and really takes a lot of energy. So a part of your book, as I've read it and read through it, is dealing with legacy. What is it about your history, your career, that you feel brought you to writing this particular book at this particular time in the universe? Jeffrey?
Well, the challenge with anything, Paul, is how authentic of a person are you when you're writing about an expertise. And I'm a New York City-bred salesperson. I grew up in Philly, but I sold everything that I sold of significance in Manhattan, including writing books. All the publishers are in New York City, but I had a garment business, I had a furniture business, and I was the CEO, the founding businessman, entrepreneur, and I would go to New York City and make sales. And it's, the expression, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. That's where I learned the rules of selling. That's where I learned the laws of selling. And I learned what you could bend and break and what you could not bend and break. And the laws are the laws. There's no getting away from them. And when I met with one of my publishers, Ray Bard of Bard Press, he said, it's time for you to write the laws. And I agreed with them, and it took about a year to do, and we did it.
The laws, there are 21.5. By the way, you do a lot of 11.5, 21.5, 5.5, 7.5, 9.5. I know you have a psychology behind that. Could you share that with our listeners?
No, actually, it was no. I do, yeah, I do. The 0.5 is the glue. Whatever I put at the very end ties all the other things together.
Uh-huh.
It also separates my list from everybody else's list on the planet.
Which leads to one of your laws.
I've actually trademarked 0.5.
Have you really?
Yeah, it's another 0.5 list from Jeffrey Gitomer is a trademark.
Oh, that's an awesome
If
idea.
somebody else uses it, I kind of jump on them.
I bet you do, and you should. But that's one of the 21.5, and that is be unique, stand
Don't
out.
screw around with the author. That's not one of the laws, but yes, it is.
Should be one of the laws.
It should be, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, actually, let me explain something about this book.
Yeah.
It took on a life of its own once it was decided that the laws would not be a sentence, but rather they would be a directive. So instead of saying Unbreakable Law 1, attracting willing buyers, it was Unbreakable Law 1, attract willing buyers. Think yes rather than thinking yes.
Yeah.
So that I can put, you must think yes, I need to think yes, I think I can think yes, here's why I will think yes, and finally, I will think yes. And this is the whole premise behind this. This will change the face of sales training, and it will change the face of sales understanding, because I've also launched, actually out of Las Vegas, from a company called Lightspeed VT. I've launched the online course at the very same time I've launched the book. So you can get literally a lifelong training in these laws simply by subscribing to a very inexpensive, $10 a month training program that will put you through the whole book and ask you questions to make sure that you comprehend it. Because I don't think you can read a book once and get it. I don't think you can go to a seminar once and get it. I think you got to repeat, because if you hear the new Justin Timberlake song, you may tap your foot the first time, but after 10 times you can sing it.
Right.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And $10 a month to have access to somebody like him, that's fantastic.
That is.
In Vegas, it's like 2 cups of Starbucks, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Just about
If
cup
even.
and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet. Or it's a red on 35.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeffrey, what is
the
it?
thing.
You've worked with salespeople, customer service people for close to 40 years or better.
Yeah.
This time, 2013, it depends on who you listen to, on the status of the economy and the recession I get. Forgetting about that little piece right there, what is the biggest challenge that you feel salespeople have in this environment, in this country right now, that your book can help with?
Well, first of all, the economy is still pretty lousy. I mean, when you drive through a McDonald's in Las Vegas, people ask if you want a new house with that. So you haven't
there he
really
goes.
recovered
Bang.
from your particular local economy. It's been a pretty tough time because corporations have canceled meetings, and that's how Las Vegas lives.
Right.
But what's happening right now in our society is people are spending less money, but they're still spending it. So a salesperson has to be a value provider rather than a product or a service purveyor in order to be able to earn the business and earn the business at their price. So there has to be more emphasis put on what's happening right now and how the customer wins, how the customer increases morale, how the customer increases productivity, how the customer profits more in order to be able to form some kind of relationship rather than making it a transaction. Because the world of sales has changed forever based on the internet, based on social media, and based on the smartphone.
Right.
For example, you ever Amazon shop somebody?
Yes, I have.
You go into a Barnes & Noble.
I've Amazon
You see a
you.
book for $20, and you go to Amazon, see how much it is.
Right.
And if you like the Amazon price better, you click Buy Now with one click.
Right.
And 2 days later, it's at your house.
Right. Yeah.
And, I mean, it's done every day. It's done at Best Buy with a washing machine or a television set. It's It's done with a pair of socks at Macy's department store. Wherever you go, you can shop it online on your smartphone and buy it at that moment, or decide, no, I don't want to wait 2 days. I need it tonight because I'm going to a party.
Right. Which brings us to
the bottom line is it has changed the face of selling forever. Now, I want you to think about one thing. The Buy Now button has changed the world, not just sales. What do you think is going to happen when General Motors installs the Buy Now button on a Chevrolet?
which they do have in the works. You know that.
Oh, yeah. Some green-haired kid in Detroit is sitting there going, now, boss, can I put it in now, boss? He's got 20 pierced ears and 17 tattoos, and he's got the button rolling.
Right.
And that will eliminate every car salesperson on the planet.
Do you know
What do you think's going to happen when Google decides they're going to do multi-listing services in the real estate business and put MLS out of business in about an hour and a half?
Which they have on the chalkboard right now.
Oh, I guarantee you they're going, should we pull the trigger today? You want to wait a week? Because they got it. You know, look what has transformed over the course of these last 10 years in terms of what's available in knowledge. When a car customer goes into a car dealership to buy a car, they're now smarter than the car salesman. They've gone online. They've done all kinds of research. They know what model they want. The car sales guy is becoming more and more a non-entity. And it's the same in the stock brokerage business. It's the same in literally anything you can name where the Internet has taken a major role.
Well, today's salesperson is in such a fierce competitive environment with what I think is the attention of the buyer. Not so much the product, but the attention. Because even while we're doing this show, we can multitask on our smartphone and text and all kinds
exactly.
of... So
but here's the deal. Let's say that I'm selling pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And I go into a doctor's office, and I start to tell him about how my aspirin is better than the other guy's aspirin. Does that doctor really want to know about aspirin? Or does he want to know how to serve people in his waiting room? Does he want to know how they can bill insurance claims faster, better? Do they want to know what kids' things they can have in the waiting room to keep to keep everything calm and nice? Isn't that what they really want to know?
So you're saying that the customer
can build a relationship rather than try to sell another prescription of aspirins.
And so the customer is wanting to know what's in it for them.
How they win. That's exactly right. And if I walk into a CEO's office and I can tell them how they win, he's going to ask what I'm selling. That's the key. Can I get the customer to find out who I am without me having to come in and introduce myself?
Right.
Makes a lot of sense.
So you've got 21.5 laws here. I've picked out a couple. I wanted to get your feedback on them. Your first one is attract willing buyers. How does a salesperson out there attract willing buyers?
By being a value provider in the marketplace. I didn't call you for this interview, did I?
No. I
No,
chased
exactly.
you down.
I don't call anybody.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the marketplace with value, either with a book or an email magazine or a blog post or a Twitter account or a Facebook account. I'm in the marketplace with something where someone can find me, like what I have, retweet what I have, and know who I am. So that when my book comes out, you know, I had a race yesterday on Amazon trying to get to number 1. And I hit number 2 because there was a psychology book that was mandatory reading for every kid in the country. And I lost by 5,000 books. It was a crazy loss. But the bottom line was, if it was a normal day, my book beat Harry Potter, my book beat Lean In, my book beat everybody. And the challenge is, can I, with a value provider message, can I attract people who like me and want to know more about me? That's a willing buyer.
Right. Law number 4, I find very interesting. You say employ humor. Now, let's just face it. There's some people out there that are just not that funny, Jeffrey. Salespeople that are just not that funny, at least in a business setting. How do they employ humor in their business setting in order to increase sales?
Well, the first thing you might want to do is go to a comedy club once a week and see and study how other people employ humor.
There you go, Paul.
I think humor is one. Yeah, you're not a very funny guy, Paul.
Yeah, he's not.
And my co-host here, he goes to comedy clubs all the time. So
Right. So if you study humor, you can become a little bit more humorous. The key is don't tell a joke, tell a story, because funny things happen at the end of stories that are more human. And you're trying to transfer a human element that will make someone smile or feel good.
Makes sense.
And that, I happen to love humor. I watched humor and studied humor from the time that I was in the 8th grade, and I would, I have all the Woody Allen albums from his nightclub days, or all the comedians of that time, the Steve Martins of his time, and even the earlier guys of Shecky Green and Mort Saul. But I loved humor. I thought I wanted to find out what was funny. And I wanted to find out why these guys or how these guys pulled it off, because I loved laughing. The first thing you need to do is get a better attitude about humor and get a better attitude about your life, and then humor will kind of creep its way in. But you can't teach humor to somebody that has none.
Yeah, and that's a great point. You remember people even like Bill Cosby. One of the best thing about his humor was the fact that he always told stories. You remember the chocolate cake story? Everybody knows that story.
Exactly.
And stories about himself, self-deprecating humor as well.
Yeah.
You're going to make fun of you. Like I'm don't have much hair, and so I'll make fun of myself as a bald guy. But it also allows me to talk to other bald guys.
Exactly, Jeffrey. But are you a bald guy named Harry like I am?
Oh yeah, that's tough. That's really tough.
Uphill battle.
You could actually put non in front of your name.
Yeah, so I'm a walking
Non-Harry.
oxymoron.
Your law
Right.
number 11 I find really interesting. Ask before you tell. And in that chapter, you talk about some really dumb questions that salespeople ask. And every salesperson has been through some kind of sales training where they have been specifically told, ask this set of questions. And in your view, according to the book, these are really stupid questions. Like what?
Well, because they're questions about the other guy's wallet, not about the other guy's needs. For example, if you go to buy a new home, the sales guy is going to ask you if you have a home to sell, or if you have a mortgage right now, and what is your mortgage payment right now. And if a real estate guy asked me that, I'd either hang the phone up or slap him, because it's none of his business what my mortgage payment is. I say, well, okay, pal, what's yours? What's your credit score? And he'll go, well, that's kind of personal. Well, what do you think it is for me? Wouldn't it be better if the real estate agent said, tell me about the bedroom that you grew up in? Wouldn't that be better?
That'd be a lot
Wouldn't it be better if the guy said, listen, before we take a tour, why don't you tell me about the 10 things that you got to have in the home of your dreams? Because I'm going to help you find that home, whether it's with me or somebody else.
And the end objective, the end result of the salesperson asking that question to a prospective buyer is what, Jeffrey? What are they trying to elicit here?
Well, for years, sales trainers have said, qualify the buyer. I think that's the rudest thing on the planet. I think what you need to do is just like the other person. And if you speak to them and you harmonize with them and you try to build rapport with them, then there's a chance that they will like you. And when they like you, they'll qualify themselves. Just give it an extra 5 minutes.
Oh, it's a relationship
But
business.
sales trainers are so passionate about qualifying the buyer and finding the pain. That's a bunch of crap. You want me to find the pain, Paul, or you want me to find the pleasure? Which would you rather have, pain or pleasure?
Yeah, people are going to move toward the pleasure.
Loaded question.
Yeah,
for
so
Paul.
find the pleasure, and maybe with pleasure you'll find something in common. Maybe you both like golf, or you both like the UNLV basketball team overpaid players. Oh, I'm sorry, they don't pay players in college.
Yeah.
Autographs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that all goes into another one of your laws, the number 18, be perceived as different. So many salespeople are in that path of asking those specific questions, and when a prospective buyer goes into a salesperson that has read the book or been trained by you or gone through your programs, and they get a different set of questions, that is one way that they're perceived as different. Is that true?
I don't teach people how to sell. I teach why people buy.
There you go. There's a distinction right there.
Absolutely.
And I teach customer loyalty, not customer satisfaction. Because you can have tons of customers that are never satisfied, but they keep buying from you. And just let me give you a piece of information. You ever see the J.D. Powers Customer Satisfaction Awards?
Yes.
Are they bogus or what? I mean, seriously, they give those awards to airlines.
Oh, that's a good point.
What could the category possibly be that an airline would win an award?
Wow.
A good? You mean a good award, right?
Best
I'm gonna give you
landings.
one. Least crappy.
Yeah.
How about that? Shortest wait online. I mean, it's totally crazy. They treat customers like dirt. They could care less whether they live or die. And their greeting to a customer when they finish a transaction is, "You're all set." Now, I fly 200 times a year. There isn't one person I've ever met in an airline that has ever said, "Thank you for your business." Not one. Because they don't care.
It's a very good point.
But the J.D. Powers Company, if you give them enough money, they'll give you an award.
That is true.
It's kind of like the Paul Montelongo Awards.
The award goes.
The Paul Montelongo Award is much, much better than that because Paul is actually a nice person.
Oh, Paul, you're a nice person.
Thank you.
Very good.
I want to talk. I want to leave law number 21.5 for a couple of minutes from now, and before we get to that, because I think it's all summed up in that in your book.
That's the .5. You're exactly correct.
It puts it all together. Before I ask you about that, I want to ask you about the book itself and about your work, Jeffrey. What is it that is your legacy? What do you want to be remembered for? What do you want this book to accomplish in the marketplace? And how does that look to the marketplace?
I am the self-proclaimed king of sales. But if you look at my legacy, the Little Red Book of Selling is the largest selling sales book of all time. The Sales Bible, my initial book, is still on the marketplace and still doing well. And this book will complete the trilogy of sales books. I'm actually going to write another book called Sales .5, where I talk about more of the emotional part of selling. And that book I've actually pretty much designed it already. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line for this is that my legacy will continue because all of my courseware is online. And it will live literally 100 years after I'm gone. I've partnered with the Dale Carnegie Organization. I'm their first partner in 100 years. I've partnered with the Napoleon Hill Institute. I'm their only partner ever. And my online stuff will contribute to everyone's ability to sell more and serve better. But what I'm doing right now, and you'll see when I come to Las Vegas, Paul, I've created a group of advisors where you can become a kind of Jeffrey Jr. You can resell my stuff or you can retrain my stuff in the classroom so that I'll have 1,000 people out there singing my song to their customers and their clients. And that's what my real legacy will be. Millions of new people will be exposed to it as a result of me sort of opening up my brand so that others can resell it.
Well, Jeffrey, the question I have, though, real quick, though, to be part of that program, do they have to have the same hairstyle that you have?
They do not have to have the same hairstyle, but they do have to have the same attitude.
Fantastic. Well, Paul's in then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Paul has great hair. I've always hated his hair, actually.
Me too.
Yeah.
That takes us to law number 21.5. And when I read this, it put it all together, not just in the world of sales, Jeffrey, but pretty much anything you do in the world, professionally or otherwise. Why don't you tell us what law 21.5 is and the inspiration behind it?
21.5 is a law that says love it or leave it. That if you wake up in the morning and you don't love what you do, you're going to be mediocre at it, or you're going to be blasé about it, and you're always going to be kind of looking over your shoulder for the next thing or the new thing. And you know, it boils down to the same thing in your house. If you wake up next to someone and you don't love them anymore, you're going to be looking. And if you don't love the car that you have anymore, you're going to be looking. It's all about, if you're in love with what you do, you'll be best at it. You'll be so proficient at it that you'll die to be a master of it. And that's the challenge. I tell salespeople all the time, why are you doing this? And they say, well, because I can make a bunch of money. Like, dude, you can make way more money loving what you do. And look at any athlete, look at any musician, look at anybody who has struggled for 15 or 20 years. They love what they do, and they're willing to do it for nothing. Meanwhile, they're paid for it incredibly well. So I love what I do, and the nicest compliment that I can get from someone when I'm done a seminar, someone comes up and says, "You know what? You love what you do, and it shows."
Well,
no one could say a nicer thing to me.
Yeah, you can hear it in your voice too, Jeffrey. Obviously, that you have such a passion for who you are and what you're about and what you want to bring to the world, and that's so appreciated by people like us that, read your books and attend your seminars and are able to be blessed to have you on a show like this to share your knowledge and wisdom.
It's my pleasure.
For the listeners that, for those that are just listening and not watching online at the visual, I want to give them, as best I can, a visual of what your book, 21 Laws, Unbreakable Laws of Selling, as well as your other books, does for the reader. They're visually pleasing. They're visually stimulating. They're different. They're not just manuscripts, if you will. They have different colors of writing, different font styles, and it keeps the mind engaged. And especially in the world of sales, salespeople, they're on the go, they're on the go, they're on the go. They have to have it. Instant gratification people as a rule. And so a book like this,
see a book, they can come to my seminar in Vegas at the Westin on October the 8th or October the 9th.
October 8th, October 9th, the Westin. Here in Las Vegas.
On Flamingo. It's not a Vegas hotel per se, but it has a great ballroom. It's got great food. They have a Starbucks. And
24-hour Starbucks.
It's where I stay, literally, when I come to Vegas and I don't have a specific speaking gig.
Great. He's Jeffrey Gitomer. He's the author of the brand new book, 21.5 Unbreakable Laws of Selling. Make sure that you go to Gitomer.com and download all of his resources, including the online resources and the ongoing training that he has there for salespeople. By the way, when I first found out that you were going to come on to the show, I said to myself that I was going to announce to the listening audience that if you are in the world of sales and you don't know who Gitomer is, then you're really not in the world of sales. So I will stand by that. Thank you very much for coming in this afternoon, and we'll see you in a few weeks when you hit Vegas. All right,
Thanks,
Jeffrey?
Got it. Thank you,
all right, take
guys.
care. And we'll be back in a moment after these messages to the Paul Montelongo Get a Grip Business Show.
When it comes to understanding your credit, knowledge is key. That's why at Alliance Credit Restoration, we work hard to take the necessary steps to improve your credit. Alliance Credit Restoration can dispute information on your credit report that is outdated, inaccurate, or unverifiable. Plus, with their knowledgeable and professional staff, Alliance Credit Restoration offers a personalized approach in handling each client's file. And getting started is easy. If your credit score is holding you back, visit AllianceCreditRestore.com today. With 24-hour access to your account, constant updates, and one-on-one customer service, there's never been a better time to start living the life you deserve. Don't just fix your credit, enhance your future by calling Alliance Credit Restoration now at 702-834-8150. That's 702-834-8150. Or visit AllianceCreditRestore.com. Log on now and get your free report, The 7.5 Most Commonly Made Mistakes of Credit Repair.
As more Americans become disillusioned with traditional investment choices, the trend of self-directed IRAs is growing, and no trust company is more preferred than Preferred Trust Company, LLC. With their 30 years of combined experience, Preferred Trust Company makes self-direction easy. And self-direction doesn't mean you're on your own. Self-directed simply means that you have complete control over selecting and directing your own IRA or 401k investments. And the team at Preferred Trust Company is with you every step of the way. A self-directed IRA with Preferred Trust Company offers you maximum flexibility, convenience, 24-hour access, and a host of tax advantages. Learn more about self-directed IRAs by downloading the free document, Self-Directed IRAs, Taking Financial Control of Your Retirement at PreferredTrustCompany.com. Call Preferred Trust Company now and get started at 702-990-7892. That's 702-990-7892. Or visit PreferredTrustCompany.com.
Call us with your questions at 731-1230. Now, here again, the host of Get a Grip Business Radio, Paul Montelongo.
Let's get it started.
Welcome back to the Paul Montelongo Get a Grip Business Show here live in Las Vegas. I'm here with my co-host Harry E. Shade, and we just came out of an interview with sales guru extraordinaire Jeffrey Gitomer. I wanted to tell a story to our listeners before we move on to our next segment, and that is a few years ago I was able to visit Jeffrey in his loft offices in Charlotte, North Carolina, which also contains at the other end of the complex his 3-story apartment. And in his 3-story apartment, he has every bit of sports memorabilia that you could imagine.
Did you pass out?
Oh, it was. Can I say? Yeah, it was orgasmic. Okay, so
yeah, you can say that.
Every bit of sports memorabilia that you could imagine, every bit of cartoon art, old movies, and more than 3,000 books on the topic of sales.
Yes, well, you could say that. I preferred you didn't, but
and
you said it anyway.
So he's a man that is committed to the world of sales and to the world of professional development. So I really appreciate him being on the show this afternoon. And he talked about legacy, and I think that's a natural segue into our next segment here about legacy, because I have a guest with us here, Susan Mastrian, and she's the executive director of a charitable organization known as Made in America. Welcome, Suzanne. How are you?
Thank you. I'm wonderful, and it's such a pleasure to be here with you today, Paul.
Good. So, Made in America is, I'm going to give the 1 or 2 sentence definition of it, and then I'll let you expand on that. It's a charitable organization that, as I understand it, is committed to resurrecting manufacturing in the United States. And is that a fair assessment?
That is, absolutely. We are.
And how does Made in America plan to do that, or how are they doing that?
Well, we are uniquely poised as a nonprofit organization dedicated to resurrecting manufacturing in this country. We do so in collaborative partnership with the public and private sector because we have seen the enormous need that manufacturing has in this country, and the fact that there has been such a tremendous downfall over the course of the last 2 decades in particular in concern to our gross domestic product and what has taken place in the workforce, the closing of 45,000 plants across this nation in the last decade alone, and 5.5 million jobs being lost in manufacturing. So as a nonprofit, we're here to address those concerns, especially as they relate to our economy, and it is our intention to reignite the economy by resurrecting manufacturing.
That's great to hear, because I'm from Ohio originally, and northeastern part of that state is known as the Rust Belt. And I mean, it is really just devastating to see those towns that went from 70, 80,000 people, and they're now down to 20,000 because people have had to move somewhere else, find some other work. So that's great to hear.
Well, there are widespread ramifications to the loss of manufacturing in this country. When you take a look at perhaps the Rust Belt that you spoke of, cities like Orem, Utah, where Geneva Steel was a big part of that lifeblood of the economy in that community, manufacturing plants opening in the 1940s and closing their doors in 2003 to outsource across this out of the United States. Mm-hmm. You look at Elgin in Decatur, Illinois, and the Caterpillar plants that closed down. Or how about the mass exodus of 250,000 people in what was once a great mecca of manufacturing, and that being Detroit.
Oh, yes, Detroit.
Right. So many manufacturers, though, have moved their operations or most or parts of their operations outside of the boundaries of the United States for economics, for the bottom line. How do we plan to get those jobs back into America and put those jobs that have gone outside the country back into the United States to reignite the economy?
Well, there are a couple of different points that are raised by that statement. And first of all, yes, there's about 20% more expensive to do your manufacturing in this country versus countries like perhaps China or Indonesia. But really what we do offer is still a quality of workmanship in this country that's unsurpassed. And I think people lose sight of that. As well, we are now addressing the biggest obstacle to manufacturing in this country, and that is a qualified workforce, because there's such an enormous skills gap that needs to be addressed in this country. 20 years ago when we started taking vocational and skills training out of the comprehensive high schools across this nation, we also were left with a generation that was ill-equipped to provide the kind of workforce we needed in manufacturing. And educational reform is a huge component to the Made in America program. Our Students in Manufacturing program is dedicated to resurrecting STEM and STEAM curriculum in the comprehensive high schools.
You want to explain to us STEM and STEAM?
STEM and
Certainly, I'd be happy to.
The acronyms.
STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. And STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts and math, because arts and all creativity being the impetus for innovation. Innovation is a huge component to manufacturing. And when you consider the fact that over 70% of all manufacturing has to do with research and development, we want to get those kinds of technical curriculums back into the comprehensive high schools so that we can build up a better, more qualified workforce.
Sounds like they could just get rid of STEM and just go with STEAM now, since they added the A in there.
I think it's important.
Yeah, just call it STEAM.
And I understand you have an initiative for local schools in the Vegas Valley that to get this started off or to get this working. What does that look like?
We have a collaborative partnership with the Clark County School District in which we are going to be implementing that STEM curriculum along with the adjacent equipment and different software tools, et cetera, to facilitate the program in 5 comprehensive high schools locally. They are Legacy, Canyon Springs, Mojave, Cimarron, and Palo Verde High Schools.
What kind of reception have you received from the Clark County School District?
They are exceptionally welcoming to the program that we're implementing. It is a $1.5 million program, and we are actively seeking charitable donations, both from the private and public sector, to help facilitate implementation of this program.
You know, when I first heard about your organization, I thought, well, manufacturing in America. And the perception of that is still smokestacks and hard hats and smudges
Lunch
on the
buckets.
face. But I learned differently. That's not the case, is it?
It is not the case, actually. We're not dealing with the manufacturing sector of the days of Saul Bellow. It's not just 3 smokestacks off in the distance. It's far more white coats than hard hats. And with that, it comes a very highly innovative and advanced technological industry. We are trying to revitalize and rebrand modern manufacturing for what it is today.
And so you feel like that message, changing the perception of manufacturing, the face of the perception of manufacturing, is going to be appealing to the youth in schools?
Absolutely, it has to be. And unfortunately, I've yet to hear a high school student say, I can't wait to get into manufacturing. But the fact of the matter is that this industry offers better comprehensive salary and benefit structures for the long-term careers of anyone getting into the industry. You're looking at an average salary of about $70,000 a year to start out. And I don't think the youth of this nation is quite familiar with what's taking place in manufacturing today.
Now, other than shows like this, what else are you guys doing to get the word out, to educate the community about exactly what you just talked about?
We've had an overwhelmingly positive response from our local government officials, everyone from the mayor's office to Senator Reed, Senator Horsford, Senator Titos, various congressmen and councilwomen here locally. So public awareness is a huge component of our program because we need to enthuse the general public as to manufacturing and the benefits that it brings to this country. And one other note that I'd like to make, we have a sister organization called Green Global that is dedicated to reducing the human footprint on climate change. And it's much more important that we manufacture here in this country versus others for the well-being and stability of our planet as a whole.
Okay. What's your end goal here as far as geographically? Just the Vegas Valley?
Absolutely not. This is our programs that are here in the southern Las Vegas and Nevada area are programmed and structured in such a way that they can have national replication. It is our intention to get into states like Michigan and North Carolina, those other states that have been hardest hit by the economy. But because we are poised here in Las Vegas, where there's still 9.5% unemployment, and we are looking at a school district that still ranks 50th in the nation, we feel that we are very well poised to bring the success of these programs to light here first and then in other states.
Awesome. When we get back from break in a moment, I want to ask you some more about about the legacy, because since we're talking about legacy in this program, that seems to be a theme. I want to talk to you about the legacy.
Sure.
And when someone wants to actually help out in this, how they can do that. When we get back in a moment to the Paul Montelongo Get a Grip Business Show.
When it comes to understanding your credit, knowledge is key. That's why at Alliance Credit Restoration, we work hard to take the necessary steps to improve your credit. Alliance Credit Restoration can dispute information on your credit report that is outdated, inaccurate, or unverifiable. Plus, with their knowledgeable and professional staff, Alliance Credit Restoration offers a personalized approach in handling each client's file. And getting started is easy. If your credit score is holding you back, visit AllianceCreditRestore.com today. With 24-hour access to your account, constant updates, and one-on-one customer service, there's never been a better time to start living the life you deserve. Don't just fix your credit, enhance your future by calling Alliance Credit Restoration now at 702-834-8150. That's 702-834-8150. Or visit AllianceCreditRestore.com. Log on now and get your free report, The 7.5 Most Commonly Made Mistakes of Credit Repair.
As more Americans become disillusioned with traditional investment choices, the trend of self-directed IRAs is growing, and no trust company is more preferred than Preferred Trust Company, LLC. With their 30 years of combined experience, Preferred Trust Company makes self-direction easy. And self-direction doesn't mean you're on your own. Self-directed simply means that you have complete control over selecting and directing your own IRA or 401k investments. And the team at Preferred Trust Company is with you every step of the way. A self-directed IRA with Preferred Trust Company offers you maximum flexibility, convenience, 24-hour access, and a host of tax advantages. Learn more about self-directed IRAs by downloading the free document, Self-Directed IRAs, Taking Financial Control of Your Retirement at PreferredTrustCompany.com. Call Preferred Trust Company now and get started at 702-990-7892. That's 702-990-7892. Or visit PreferredTrustCompany.com.
This is Get a Grip Business Radio. Call us with your questions at 731-1230. Now, here again, your host, Paul Montelongo.
Let's get it started. Let's get it.
Welcome back to the Paul Montelongo Get a Grip Business Show. This is where the American Free Enterprise System is at work hard, encouraged, endorsed. And this is where serial entrepreneurship is a way of life. And part of being a serial entrepreneur, as I am and as you are, Harry, is this idea that we have of creating a legacy, of leaving a legacy. And an integral part of that has always been contribution and donation. And, of course, in the studio right now with me is Suzanne Mastrione, the executive director of Made in America. We're talking about the resurrection of manufacturing in America. And another thought process that I have about your initiative to encourage school-age kids, or what school age are we talking about? Middle school? Or
well, right now our focus is predominantly on comprehensive high schools here in the greater Las Vegas area.
And it just occurs to me, and I say this in the most positive all ways that I can, it's like the youth of today are really not that interested in working in a manufacturing plant or at a manufacturing facility. You know, they see the sexiness of professional athletes and the sexiness of
the
entertainers, and you know, they have these visions of much grander things at this moment. How do you plan to get in front of them in an attractive way, in an appealing way, this idea of manufacturing as a career in the United States?
Well, I think it's incumbent upon us to make sure that the youth of this nation, and in particular right here and right now, the youth of Las Vegas, that they are aware of how highly innovative and advanced technologically manufacturing truly is. And we do that through our mentorship programs. We bring in successful manufacturers across the Las Vegas Valley area to come in and panel discuss with our students those benefits to the industry, the highly technologically advanced portions of our industry, and those things that can infuse enthusiasm and ignite a passion for these kids. Your last speaker just talked about the value-added sector to sales and how important it is to build a relationship. And that's exactly what we're attempting to do with these students, that they are not only aware of the benefits of manufacturing and their future, but what it means to the economic backbone of this country as well. We are losing out on an entire generation of students, and we need to bring that back. We are also have huge concerns about the national defense of our country when you start outsourcing manufacturing to other countries. Intellectual property and such is not being addressed appropriately, and we want to see products being brought and made back in this country, and we also want to see our gross domestic product percentages increase. In 1950, it was at 28% here in this country. It's currently at 11%. It's insignificant in comparison, and we ask ourselves why we're in the economic position that we're in.
Well, you know, one way of doing that would be a video game, obviously, because Youth of America, video games, right?
A Made in America video game?
Made in America
There's an
video
idea
game.
for
But
you.
no, the extra thing to what she's talking about, how do you make manufacturing sexy, you know, for these kids? Like, you know, and one thing I saw the other day on the Brink, which is on station I saw it on, but there's a place called Local Motors over in Los Angeles that they do small batches. They build cars, and you can actually go in and build the car with them, your own car.
We've actually been in touch with Local Motors, and they're very receptive to what we're trying to do
Very
at
good.
Made in America. Thank you for bringing them up. Jay, who's one of the presidents over there in their Phoenix district, is opening up a micro plant here in Las Vegas, and we hope to have them mentor with our students as well. So there's another very sexy way of bringing manufacturing into the public eye of the students.
Absolutely.
I do think this is a very good cause that you're involved in here. I want to make sure that our listeners know and understand how they can participate with you and Made in America if they choose. You give some information on how to get a hold of you?
Absolutely. We are a nonprofit, as I said, so any donations that are made to Made in America in an effort to resurrect manufacturing in this country, or our Students in Manufacturing program, can be made directly to Made in America, 121 East Warm Springs Road. That's Las Vegas, Nevada, 89119. Also, please feel free to visit our website at www.mianv.org and use that Donate Now button.
There you
Donate
go.
Now.
I love it.
She's Susan Mastrione, and she's the executive director of Suzanne Mastrione, beg your pardon.
Thank you.
Executive director of Made in America, and we thank you for being on the show today. I think resurrecting manufacturing in this country is essential, and I really like your approach about presenting it to the youth of our country so that they can get involved early and continue to make products and goods in this country, because in our opinion, this is the best economic place in the world, and it's the place that will continue to promote free enterprise. So I appreciate your being here on the show, and congratulations on your work.
Thanks so much. It's been my pleasure.
And no Paul Montelongo show would be complete without the segment I call I'm Sexy and I Know It.
Oh, man.
I'm sexy
Here we go.
and I know it. I'm sexy and I know it.
This is the segment of the show where I reveal stories about people, places, celebrities, or businesses that relate to the free enterprise system, or pretty much just about anything in general that I think is sexy in the news. This is a freewheeling segment, right?
It is.
So, Harry, guess
Yes,
what?
Paul.
Expected to arrive in the United States theaters on June 25th, 2015, the next Terminator
All right.
full-length feature film featuring guess who?
Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's back.
This will be his fifth one. Wow.
I'll be back.
How old is he now? About 186, 187?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Okay.
Still looks pretty darn good, though.
Anyway, the Austrian actor is slated to portray the classic android character once again in the upcoming reboot. By the way, Arnold Schwarzenegger, has a net worth of over $300 million post-divorce.
I was going to say, after the divorce?
Post-divorce
Okay, well,
net
good
worth,
for
$300
him.
million. Way
How much
to go,
did he give away, I wonder?
Well, it depends on where you look, but
Yeah.
the internet says somewhere around $600 million.
Yeah.
So about half. He's from California, so there's a little bit of pocket change left there. Way to go,
Just a bit.
Arnold. Arnold and the Terminator are sexy, and they know it.
Arnold.
Second, Americans are paying record prices now for new cars and trucks, and they've only have themselves to blame. New cars, new trucks. On average, the price of a new vehicle in the United States is $31,252, up $1,000 over the same time last year, and that's the contributing factors are a little bit better economy, better marketing, a little bit healthier auto industry, low interest rates. And also more features on vehicles. So the American consumer is buying a vehicle and they're putting a lot of stuff on it.
Oh, well, that's very nice. So that's what's sexy about that.
That's what's sexy about that. Put stuff on your vehicle. Yeah, and finally,
give it to me.
Give it to me. This is a story from London. Usain Bolt sees the Rio 2016 Olympics as the possible end of his career. He says that he's going to make another run for 3 gold medals that'll give him 9 total, tying him with Carl Lewis for most gold medals in track and field. Short, of course, of the swimmer Michael Phelps, right? Because he's got what's he got, 20 something, he's got a whole library full of them, right? Anyway, Usain Bolt, the world's fastest man, is still dominating. He's in a very Angie-like dominating phase, right? And so he won triple gold at the last month's World Championships. He won the 2008, 2012 Olympics, and he actually got beat this year.
Yeah, I saw that.
He got beat. He ran a 9.89, and the guy who beat him, Fay, is that his name? Or Gay. Ronald Gay. He beat him, and he ran like a 9.88. Like a hundredth of a second split them, right? But I think what it did was it motivated him even more. By the way, Usain Bolt has parlayed his celebrity and his gold medal status and his advertising into a net worth of over $60 million for being the lightning bolt, the fastest man on the planet.
Well, the thing about that is the only thing I don't want him to do is sing the national anthem like
Carl Lewis
attempted.
That was horrible.
That was not sexy at all.
One more time, I want to make sure that our listeners know that they need to go out to Amazon or Gitomer.com and buy Jeffrey Gitomer's brand new book, 21.5 Unbreakable Laws of Selling. Proven actions you must take to make easier, faster, bigger sales now and forever. And I want to thank Jeffrey and his office and his staff for coming on our show this afternoon. I want to thank Suzanne Mastrione from Made in America for coming on the show. Harry E. Shade, my co-host, thank you very much. And in the studio on video right now is my son, Evan, visiting from San Francisco for a few days. He's waving to the crowd here. Thank you for being here, son. And also our producer, Mike. This has been the Paul Montelongo Show. And just remember, folks, that go out and make yourself and your enterprise an integral part of the American free enterprise system. It's the very best business system in the world, and it's the driving force of what's behind our economy. Contribute to the economy.
Yes.
Be a driving force.
Be an entrepreneur.
Be an entrepreneur, and above all else, remember to go big or vámonos, go home.
That's right.
That's our show for this week. We'll see you next week.
See you, folks. Have a good week.